Very good game, though. Flaky Scalp has played a great game. Very, very good game by Flaky Scalp.
Greetings chaps and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be going over my game with none other than HIKARU Nakamura from 2021. And you might be wondering how this game came about. Why did I play a Blitz game with HIKARU? Well, basically HIKARU was preparing for some pretty serious tournaments at the time. He was preparing for the candidates, for example. And he just called me up and said, you know, I need a good quality Blitz game. Are you available to play? And I said, yeah, sure, HIKARU. Let's say no more. Let's run it. Now, I played this game on my Flaky Scalp account, which was actually a side account. As you can see, I'm rated 1,192. My real ability was a bit more than that. But I decided to play on this side account, firstly just to demonstrate some Flaky Scalp to HIKARU's stream. And secondly, you know, of course HIKARU's a very strong Blitz player, so I thought, you know, I've got to give myself a bit of a psychological edge here. So I thought I'd incorporate some Sun Tzu tactics. When you are strong, appear weak. Let's catch HIKARU off guard. He's going to think, oh, this guy's just 1100, easy win. And really I'm going to slam him with some 1400 rated tactics that he'll never expect. So anyway, we're going to go through the game, then I'm going to show you HIKARU's streamed perspective of the game. But first, let's just jump into this analysis. Okay, so I kick off the game with e4, and HIKARU opts for the Caro-Kann defense with c6. I go into the fantasy variation, which is where you push the pawn to f3. Quite an atypical move for most openings. You don't see the pawn pushed so early to f3 very often, but this is a very aggressive way to play against the Caro-Kann. I like it, it's my weapon of choice. Now HIKARU develops the knight to f6, which is actually an inaccuracy, as you can see. The two moves you play in this position is you either play e6 or you take the pawn. These are pretty much the two moves you can play. But HIKARU plays this, and the reason it's still an inaccuracy is it allows me to push the pawn to e5, take the center, and then develop to f4. And now I have this arrowhead formation, as you can see. This is a poison dart arrow that I've just formed in the center. And HIKARU's going to have to deal with my poison dart arrow. So he maneuvers the knight around to b6, which is actually a mistake. So I've got a good position here, apparently. Now I play knight to f3, which is an inaccuracy. The reason it's an inaccuracy is because it allows HIKARU to develop his bishop to a good square. If I hadn't have developed this knight, if I had played bishop d3, well, now both of these squares are inaccessible to his bishop, and he's going to have a problem with developing this light square bishop because he would like to push this pawn to solidify his center, but that would lock the bishop in. So I missed this positional opportunity here. I developed the knight, and then HIKARU, of course, takes the opportunity to get his bishop out. I meet it with bishop d3, get a trade going, and HIKARU pushes to e6. And it's in this position that HIKARU actually notes that there's a good move, and he waits patiently to see if I'll find the good move. I didn't find the good move, which was to push the pawn to f5 and immediately start attacking HIKARU's pawn chain and going after him. But I developed the knight to d2, and so HIKARU plays g6 to stop my f5 pawn push that I wasn't even aware of. So I maneuver the knight around to f1. I wasn't too sure in terms of a plan what I was doing at this point in the game, so I just thought, I was just playing largely on intuition, and I just thought, you know, this looks like a reasonable plan. Let's get the knight around to the king side, but I maneuvered it in the wrong way. HIKARU plays c5, I solidify my pawn chain, but as you can see I moved the bishop to e3, and this is a mistake. The engine's saying I should put my knight here, and the reason it's a mistake is because if I put the knight here, then if we just demonstrate with an example, I can move it around to g4 and then to f6 potentially in the future. Not right now necessarily, but this is a very juicy outpost square for the knight that I could take advantage of because HIKARU has weakened the dark squares around his king by pushing these pawns. He's created these holes, these weaknesses that I could exploit. But if I don't put my knight on e3, then it just doesn't really have anywhere to go. So I kind of blocked its development with my bishop. And so HIKARU pushes his pawn, he locks up the position. I retract my queen, and He develops the bishop, and I put my knight on g3, but here we start to see the mistakes that I'm making in this game, you know. As I said, I was playing largely on intuition. I was just developing the pieces to the squares that looked right after, you know, a few seconds of looking at the board. My mind wasn't in a very calculating mood because I was feeling a bit of pressure playing Hikaru on stream. So I just developed my knight to g3, but where's the knight going? I mean, all these squares are completely controlled by Hikaru's pawns, so it's just not really doing anything. Hikaru starts pushing the h-pawn to go after me on the king side. I didn't really see much potential for a king side attack because it's looking pretty locked up. I've got a lot of pieces around the king side, so I felt pretty safe to castle here. I thought, get my king out of the center, follow the fundamentals, and just castle the king. So castle I did. Hikaru prepares to castle himself on the queen side, and I developed the knight because I put it on g5. I thought, well, it's as good a square as any, and if Hikaru trades with the bishop, then I open up the rook by taking back with the f pawn, and I'll have the open rook on the f file. Hikaru does in fact trade, and I take back, I get the open f file, but here it opens up a positional opportunity for Hikaru. Now, as you can see, the position's still equal, still a completely equal position on move 17, so I'm doing pretty well. But Hikaru is basically getting a knight outpost here by maneuvering it around e7. Now I push pawn to b3 because basically I didn't really see anything that I can do with my pieces. They're just kind of stuck. The bishop's blocked by the pawns, and the knight doesn't really have anywhere good to go. So I just thought, well, let's try and open up the queen side because Hikaru seems like he's going to castle there. Hikaru kicks away my knight, and he establishes a nice outpost for himself on the f5 square with his knight. And that was basically his idea behind trading my piece and kicking away my knight, is to establish this dominant outpost. So I moved the bishop, Hikaru castles, which is a mistake. And basically I pushed h3 here because I was worried about Hikaru pushing the h-pawn himself and getting a big attack on my king side. I didn't want something like, you know, I didn't want to do something like this and then, you know, allow him to push here, which apparently is completely fine actually because it would give me g4 and kick away his knight. But I was just looking at stuff like takes and takes, or, you know, if I push like this, then I have this thorn in my position, probably permanently. So, you know, I played a prophylactic move by playing h3. Hikaru just calmly moves his king over, and I captured the pawn on c4, and I was very excited about this move. You know, I thought that, you know, I had some ideas going here, and Hikaru had allowed me some nice positional ideas of opening up the b file, which his king is situated on, and I wanted to attack him on this b file, but taking was a mistake because now Hikaru gets a second outpost. And you can see my drawbacks as a lower rated player at this point. I didn't have the positional knowledge. You know, I didn't see these sorts of positional threats of just allowing Hikaru to establish these knights that are completely untouchable by any of my pawns, and so they just can sit there the entire game. They're both on light squares. There's nothing that I can do to kick them. So anyway, I moved the rook to b1, which was because I wanted to start attacking him, but I actually allowed a fork here. As you can see, the e3 square is attacked twice and only defended once, and so Hikaru could have forked my queen and my rook. He doesn't do it, which I presume is because he just thought his knights were so powerful that it wasn't worth it. I assume he would have seen it. I don't think he would miss something like that. But anyway, I defend against the fork, and Hikaru starts defending and fortifying his queen side. I push the pawn, you know, I just think, you know, what can I do? If I play queen b3, then rook b6, and I have to trade. So I just thought, let's start flinging some pawns at Hikaru's king. Hikaru starts attacking my pawn, and this is basically where the game goes pretty far south for me, as Hikaru wins my a pawn, and this gives him two passed pawns connected. Not quite passed pawns, but one of them is. So we initiate a trade here, and I'm just on the back foot. You know, all my pieces are on the back rank. Hikaru's pieces are well advanced and looking very lovely. And he's just preparing to basically run his a-pawn up the board. A very clear and obvious plan. At this point, I'm very low on time. I'm just making moves pretty instinctively. I just kind of see the knight and want to move it over to the queen side where the action is, so that's what I do. Hikaru starts rolling up his a-pawn. I just get the knight into the action, and here comes the b-pawn. I'm down to under 20 seconds. I just kind of have to make moves here. Hikaru brings his king in steadily, which is a pretty crucial move, as you'll see. And I bring the queen up because I want to bring my rook over to the a file. And Hikaru, he just executes his plan. He trades off the piece and runs the pawn. I try and blockade. He moves the queen. I don't even see, because I'm so low on time and playing so frantically, I didn't see that our queens were meeting. I just moved the king up. I just have nothing. I have nothing to do. And Hikaru brings in his king. I start trying to zigzag my bishop to e1, d2, c1 to try and get this pawn with the bishop. But as you can see, it was very smart that he brought his king in, because now his king is one tempo in time to guard this pawn. So here's where the game was lost. I had 2 seconds left, and that was it. The game was over. But I did last 44 moves, which I was pretty happy with. I didn't get checkmated. So, I was very happy with my performance in this game. I did a lot better than the other subscribers that played Hikaru. Now, as I mentioned, this game was in 2021, and I have improved considerably since this time. My peak rapid rating is about 1,970, and my blitz rating is about 1,800. So I reckon after my subsequent training since 2021, I'm ready for a rematch against Hikaru. So, I'm looking forward to the opportunity that I get to play him again. And this time I'm not going to allow any shenanigans with the knight outposts. My positional understanding is advanced. And Hikaru's going to have a real game on his hands if we get into another skirmish. Anyway, let's now watch Hikaru's point of view as he plays against me on stream.
37 AP. You need to be in chess.com/live to play against me. If you're not, it won't be possible to start the game. Does Prime sub count? Of course Prime counts. Obviously, if you use your Prime, you're a sub of the channel. Absolutely. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a tier 1 or a Prime. If you're a sub of the channel, either way, yeah, you do have a chance. I don't think we're taking any more players. Maybe we are. I'm not sure. I don't think we're taking any more players since we still have quite a few left. And of course, Chess on Quick starts in about 40 minutes. But yeah, you will have the chance. Thank you to GV. Oh, we are. Sorry. Thank you. We have GV. Thank you so much. Actually, we're still drawing. So we're still drawing more players. Okay, let's go bishop f5, e6, knight d7, maybe g6. It's actually a bad position. I'm going to take and go e6, get my structure. Let's see if he finds the right move here. He has a very good move. I think maybe it's not great, but f5 was a very dangerous move. So I'm going to stop it with g6, control the square here. Thank you to Louis Fidia for the 8 months. Thank you so much. Go knight c6, maybe queen d7. I can obviously take. I can also go c4. I know c4 is a great move, but I'm going to play it. I can move the knight. I can also play like bishop e7 and h5 here. All right, I'm gonna. So far, this is a very balanced position. I'm gonna go queen e7, maybe castle long, go king b8. Okay, so the last players we have, you guys, we have Jack Joe 70, Dr. K96, Privyat 22, Temsex, Eric Rosen is boss, and Josh Shungite. So those are the players that we have remaining. I'm gonna take knight e7, knight f5 here. Or sorry, that's Josh Huey. Sorry. I'm sorry. Wait, never mind. I'm gonna go knight f5 here. Okay. Sorry. Whoops, I misread that. It's Josh Huey. I don't know why. Okay, let's go H4 knight f5 here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why I said Shungite. That looked. I guess I just the letters blurred together. Let's just castle here. Shug Knight. Yeah, Shug Knight. I think he's in prison or something, right? But anyway, I bought some rocks for La Casa. Let's go King B8, maybe Rook C8 next to move. Let's take the pawn. All right. Let's go Rook C8. I've got some great bastions here. The knights are really supported on some good outposts. They can always jump, so it should be very good for me. Very good game though. Flaky Scalp has played a great game. Do I curate the stream music? We have a general playlist, which we've had for some time. Violence, speed, and momentum. Exactly. Okay, I can play Rook B6. I can also go Rook A6 to hit the pawn. Really good position here. Go Knight B6 here. But we have a few more players left, you guys. As I said, Chess Done Quick is coming up on the top of the hour. It's a 3-hour event. It's going to be a lot of fun to play and really looking forward to it. Take and take. Go Knight C4 here, maybe Queen C6 next move. I have B5, A5 here. Go A5. Let's go B6, maybe King C7 here. Go here, maybe Rook A8, maybe A4, A3. Looks very good here. Let's just go Rook A8, maybe A4, A3. I can take, I can go like A3 here. Play like Queen C4. Maybe take some B5 next move. I guess I just trade, go like here. Walk the king all the way up the board, and it's just in time. Let's go here. Very good game by Flaky Scalp. All right, let's see next game. We have Jack Joe 70. Let's keep rolling. Okay, he's not on.